4 out of 5 satanically possessed rampaging sociopaths agree. After an evening of spree killing and slurping down vast quantities of human flesh through silly straws, make it the Bone Metal Zone. It really takes the edge off. Now with Pojitexidorfidine for added orangerific flavor. The Bone Metal Zone.
In the studio with me is Chuck Billy. And Chuck, you were just saying that it's going to be the original lineup, except with the exception of Paul Bostaff, of course, right?
Well, Paul's been a member in the past. Yeah, it's original guys, Alex Skolnick, Greg Christian, and Paul. And I don't think, I guess we have we played with Alex? I'm not sure if we played with Alex in the Bay Area yet, since he's been back in the group. But
yeah, you guys did.
We did, maybe the independent. Okay, yeah.
Last year.
Yeah, so it's great to have Alex and them back, especially working on the new record. It's we haven't really wrote songs that had lead guitar players parts for the record in a long time, about 3 albums. So having those guys back in the group was a real comforting feeling again. It was just like, back in the day when we all were working together. So it was really cool.
Is Alex really like the genius guitar savant everybody makes him out to be?
He really is, and he's, because he lives in New York, he wasn't actually out here working a lot on the record with us. So, but when he did come out, he really did help in arranging the stuff and had a lot of constructive ideas in it. And he actually brought 2 songs for the record, and we were kind of like, well, he hasn't wrote metal songs in a long time. What's that going to be like? And his songs he brought actually are really good. Songs on the record blew us away, and we're like, wow, okay, cool. He's ready to do it, And, Greg as well. Greg had a lot of good ideas coming in, but just the feeling of having everybody back in the group performing live, it's just such a confident feeling having them up there, because we've been fortunate enough to have a bunch of great musicians over the years playing the band, but it's nothing like the original guys. The first rehearsal we did with them, it was a little bit sloppy, but day 2 we went into to rehearse, and it was tight. I mean, it was just like we had never left each other. And it was unbelievable. We're like, wow, and I kind of sat back and looked at Alex and Eric, and just what they have, their chemistry together was just really made me go, wow, we've been missing that for a long time, even though we've been playing with a lot of great people, but nothing was like we having Alex there playing with Eric. And the record does definitely shine in that sense with him and Eric playing on it together.
And there was just no time before this when that was going to happen. I mean, just circumstances didn't fall into place until recently?
Well, Alex, we never left on bad terms, but Alex, he was 15 years old when he joined the band, and all he knew was touring, heavy metal, and that's it till he was 23 years old. And when he left the band, he really wanted to experience other music and other things and kind of grow up.
Wanted to vote.
Yeah, he wanted to grow up.
Do normal stuff.
Yeah, and so he left to do that, and that's what he really wanted to do. And now that he's done his jazz thing and went to school and got his degree in music, and now coming all the way back to Testament, I think when he was in his jazz project, hearing a lot of fans and coming down with their Testament records and telling them to play Testament songs
at jazz shows.
At jazz shows, he finally, I think, took it in and said, hey, it's Testament's always going to be a part of my life, and kind of we were kind of talking to each other, and the first thing is when they did the Thrash of the Titans was the first time we actually all were on the same stage together. And because in the past, I think Alex came to a show in New York and he played like 1 or 2 songs. That kind of broke the ice. But all of us performing, they were Legacy on that show, and then I got to perform 1 song with them. That kind of broke the ice of all of us being on the stage together. And then I think that next week we recorded a record. We asked him to record on First Strike, Still Deadly, where we recorded a bunch of old songs. And that kind of really broke the ice, and we kind of started hanging out. And so at that point, we were going to go play the Dynamo Festival, and the promoter told me that he's got the original Anthrax lineup, if you can get the original Testament lineup. And I'm like, wow, it just makes sense. Yeah, it sounds good. So I started calling everybody, and within a week's time, everybody committed to the show. And we were like, yeah, this is going to be great. And it was just supposed to be one show, and the one show blossomed into like 10 shows in Europe. And we all had a great time. And Alex was like, man, this is a blast. And I think he really felt the love from the fans that were so happy to see him back in the band and playing metal and being in Testament. And he really felt the love of it. And we all had a great time just as friends, as people, human beings before musicians. And he said, hey, this isn't so bad, and it worked. And from there, we did, 30, 50 shows. And we ended up saying, hey, we're going to do a new record. You want to play on the new record? You want to write one with us? And that was the big question. We were like, I'm done. I had enough. And he was like, yeah, that sounds great. Let's do it. So here we are. We got a record with them and a big year of touring planned, and it's all good now.
Everything just happened to fall into place this year.
Everything from the label to the band to the record, just everything's been so positive, and just the stars are lining up.
The new CD, Formation of Damnation, it's going to be out April 29th.
The Bone.